Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. Really appreciate you being here because we're going to be talking about Margarita Simonian that you see here on your screen. Who is Margarita Simonian? Well, she is an editor of the Russian state-backed broadcaster RT. So RT News, have you ever heard of them before? She's the editor for that company. And there's a video surfacing on social media right now, and she was aired on Russian state television. And she was basically saying on there that Russia would be able to destroy the US in 1 hour. Okay, she was saying that Russia's got all these capabilities and the US shouldn't be messing with us, and we could just go ahead and wipe US off the map in 1 hour. So obviously that would be nuclear, right? It wouldn't be conventional or by, troops entering in the United States. There's no way that would happen in 1 hour. But obviously she's talking about nuclear capabilities. And does Russia have some crazy nuclear capabilities? Yeah, they probably do. So does the US. But there's definitely a battle between who's got the better nuclear weapons and who's the nuclear superpower here, because it's either Russia or the United States. And many would speculate that one or the other is probably better. So I've got this article pulled up that we're going to go over a little bit here. Russia can destroy the U.S. in 1 hour, Putin ally brags. Russia would be able to destroy the U.S. in 1 hour, prominent Kremlin propagandist has said in the latest bellicose threat from the country's state-controlled media as the war in Ukraine rages on. We are the only country in the world that could destroy the United States in 1 hour, Margarita Simonian, the editor of the Russian state-backed broadcaster RT, said in a clip of a Russian state television broadcast posted online by X account Noel Reports. It is not clear when the clip was aired. Newsweek has reached out to the Russian Foreign Ministry for comment via email. So yeah, we don't know when this clip was aired, so I'm not going to show it at this time. So Russian state television frequently broadcasts inflammatory content and has repeatedly alluded to a nuclear confrontation with the U.S., a key ally of Ukraine in its war against Russia. Relations between Washington and Moscow have been strained throughout the nearly 2 years of war, with few prospects for an end to the conflict or a rapprochement. The U.S. and other countries providing arms to Ukraine have been concerned of the possibility of escalating the war in Eastern Europe, and often irate reaction from Moscow to new military aid pledges. In fall of 2022, shortly after Russia annexed the Donetsk, Kherson, Luhansk, and Zaporizhia regions of southern and eastern Ukraine, the Kremlin said the territories fell under Moscow's nuclear arsenal. The 4 regions are where the bulk of frontline clashes take place. In 2019, ahead of the full-scale war breaking out, Russian state television broadcast a list of U.S. military facilities it said Moscow would target in a nuclear strike. We're going to talk about some of those here in just a minute. But in 2022, a Russian politician appearing on state media said Russia would need just 4 missiles to wipe out the east and west coasts of the U.S. A Russian political commentator also said in mid-2023 that the U.S. could be caught in the crosshairs of the war in Ukraine should it escalate to a nuclear conflict. So obviously a lot of these new nuclear weapons, they're very powerful. I don't think it would require nearly as many to just completely decimate the entire planet. I want to say just Russia alone has somewhere around 7,000 last I heard, and the United States somewhere around that as well, somewhere around 7,000 nuclear bombs each. Okay, and we're not just talking nuclear bombs that were dropped on Nagasaki. We're talking much, much more powerful. Sometimes 100, 500 times the power of the nuclear bombs that were dropped in Japan during World War II. State TV host Vladimir Solovyov, one of the most well-known figures in Kremlin-backed media, said earlier this month that Russia should strike the headquarters of NATO, which has supported Ukraine's war effort. Such a move would spark a far wider war. In mid-January, former Russian president and deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, said that Ukrainian attacks on missile launch sites within Russian territory or U.S. or NATO-supplied weapons could provoke a nuclear response from the Kremlin. Russia and the US collectively possess around 90% of the world's nuclear warheads. So, how they're saying here that Ukrainian missile or attacks on missile launch sites in Russian territory could provoke a nuclear response. So there's been so many claims like this. So Dmitry Medvedev's been coming out and saying a lot of this stuff. Lots of people inside of Russia are claiming that they will respond with nuclear weapons. So I see why the West, like Europe primarily, is preparing for war. So many countries are getting ready for war with Russia because lately Russia has been coming out and claiming many times that they will go to war with the West, they'll go to war with the US, and this will be a nuclear war. It won't just be conventional. Okay, so definitely this is a big problem. There's lots of reports coming out about this, and that's why I wanted to report this as well. Like many people might think, okay, well, it's just some editor on Russian state television that's just probably talking nonsense, right? Well, in a sense, maybe that's right. Maybe it is just nonsense. But at the same time, if you follow this channel and you see lots of the news that I'm putting out, it's not just this woman who, probably out of most people has the smallest amount of impact to anybody's life if she speaks about anything like this, right? But there's lots of other people coming out, like Dmitry Medvedev I mentioned. He's the former president of Russia, right? He's come out many times and used the word, nuclear, and said, if you provoke us in any kind of way, we will literally just launch nukes right away. So these nukes are very powerful, and let me show you this. So this is like a list of all the main targets. This is actually from back in 2018, I believe. This map could be updated by now, but basically, if you look at this map, any like major city, if you live in any of these major cities, you're bound to be a target for a nuclear weapon. And why is that? Well, because obviously they're mostly populated, right? If they were going to use nuclear weapons, they would want to target these areas where they're highly densely populated. So if you live in any of these cities, I would highly recommend that you have an evacuation plan should there ever be an attempt to that Russia or some other country launches nuclear weapons at the United States, assuming that we all have time to escape, right? You'd always want to try to escape if you're able to. If not, you want to stay inside and try to have as much surface area around you, as much buildings and walls around you to protect you from nuclear fallout should you be able to survive the blast. So, take a good look at that on your screen and see if you're in any of those zones there. I'll tell you right off the bat, I'm in one of those. So, it's definitely dangerous. And these nuclear bombs are very powerful, and there's not just, your standard nuclear bombs that strike land. There's even apparently nukes that can explode underwater now and cause a massive tsunami. So the east and the west coast could just be completely wiped out by a tsunami. Okay, there's all kinds of different weapons now that have been released, and many are undergoing testing, or they're even ready to go. Like Putin's Satan II, I think is what he calls it, the Satan missile that supposedly is unstoppable, is what he's calling it. So I mean, I would say maybe you can laugh at this woman for saying that, but at the same time, there's lots of other people warning about this, and nuclear war is definitely a possibility. Okay, Trump has come out many times. I've put that here on this channel, videos from him claiming that we're the closest we've ever been in nuclear war. Okay, if you at least somewhat believe in the doomsday clock, okay, with the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, okay, they say we're at 90 seconds to midnight. We're the closest on that clock that we've ever been to midnight, and midnight being like mainly nuclear war. Okay, I've reported on that. Okay, there's lots and lots of signs here that nuclear war is very possible. And I'm not saying this woman's right that the U.S. could be wiped out in 1 hour, but if there really were to be a nuclear war, it would be very bad. Okay, and we all know that it'd be very, very bad, and lots of lives would be lost instantly. And the entire world would just be decimated if we were to use nuclear bombs. So hopefully that never happens. But once again, we've got another person coming out. A lot of them are inside of Russia, I've been seeing, that are coming out and saying, hey, we'll use nuclear weapons. Okay, and it's not just Russia. North Korea's been doing that. Kim Jong Un has, I don't know how many times, repeatedly said that he will use nuclear weapons to defend his country. So, um, very scary. Okay. And I just wanted to bring this to your attention and let you know what's going on here. So, that's going to be it for this video, though. I appreciate you hanging out with me here and listening to this information. So we'll see you all in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you as soon as a new video is live. And with that, thanks so much for being here again. Hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care. God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.